and welcome to Afterglow Poetics. I'm your host, Sarah. I'm going to be reading 4 poems today, which seems pretty ambitious, but 3 of them are people that I know or have talked to in real life, and then one of them is just a book I read recently, a poem from it that really spoke to me. So first I'm going to start with Melanie. So I was at Trader Joe's and I hear, Sarah. So I turn around, not expecting anything because it's a really common name. And it was Melanie. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. And Melanie and I used to do a lot together in publishing. I made this anthology and she has her work in it. And anytime we did a reading series or something, Melanie was one of the first people that I invited because she was just kind of always down, and everyone was always so impressed by her work. It's really bold, and she says, honestly, what a lot of people, she writes what a lot of people wouldn't even talk about in the most intimate settings, but she writes it, publicly, and that's something I really love about her work. So we're going to start with a poem from this anthology. This is 11 years old. And so everyone signed this book. There was a party, but I guess Melanie didn't go because it's blank. So Melanie, 11 years later, can you sign my book? Okay, so this is called Boobs in Central Park. She tells me that it is legal to be topless in New York City. She smiles and says, just cover your nipples, you'll be fine, even if you're shy. She holds my hand as we lay our backs against the itchy dog piss grass, spreading our limbs like sea star appendages across the tourist-filled lawn of Sheep Meadow. Men with deep southern accents intersect our bubble of bronzed, sun-soaked boobs and giggle like Asian schoolgirls, twiddling their fingers in each other's hair. One man snickers low, African boobies. The other laughs out, I've never seen nipples so black. She looks over to me, places her hand over my chest, tells me that the universe molded breasts over the heart to keep assholes like them away from the thump, thump, thumping the beating creates. So we lie there, my right boob in her left hand. We listen to the taxicab horns, honking, the humid heat boiling sweat beneath flesh, city pigeons cooing, men commenting like children over our breasts. So that is Melanie Shaw. Melanie is a professor at the college that we met at. And yeah, I'd love to read some of Melanie's more recent work, because I have quite a collection of Melanie's stuff. I made a chapbook of Melanie's. It was called They Call Me Black. I tried to find it. I had a whole shelf of books that I had either edited or published, but I moved and I don't know where anything is anymore. I just kind of stick books in crevices because I'm that fits. And that was 3 years ago. But one day I'm gonna organize my bookshelf again. So yeah, Melanie, good to see you in the parking lot of Trader Joe's. Next up we have Sea Shanties for the Landlocked and Other Poems by Benjamin Thornton. I met Benjamin at a bookstore that he works at. I won't say what the bookstore is just in case for his privacy. And I bought this book signed by the author. So the funny thing is I read this podcast, this episode, I recorded it already, and then I really fucked up a word in this poem. So I drove to the bookstore that Benjamin works at, and I told him, and I was like, can you help me pronounce this word? So he told me how to pronounce it, but I swear I'm going to mess it up again. But whatever, he said he doesn't care. So this one's for Benjamin. Pop-up dreams. Pop-up girl meets throwback dude in a translucent, polarized view of the influential. Stock graphic posts of Insta immortality. And the prank lines of cheap street magic. Taste like emotions that were never really properly ingested. It's a trick shot and a fix-it in post kind of love affair, where she gets what he craves. And the Hollywood vines grow through inner correctional tunnels, dug into mountains of coastal airs. It's a fever dream of the Hollywood life expectancy. A small town runaway meets neon husked adversity, where cancel culture has a long-term visibility, fixated on the gremlin on the wing, while ignoring the monster at the wheel. It's a steep price, but then again, it's only the entry fee, said the dogs of advertising and a stockpile of advocates who would otherwise market the hell out of the pop-up dream, carefully designed room themes of unintellectual property, disguised by unicorn fleeces draped over deep-holed tourist traps. Roller skate hairstyles takes a drive-by through the Palisades, while the hung-out methadone does the disco dispensary. Put it in a buy-nothing fashion statement, and the brand will sell itself. As the strung-out swallows their keto and cocaine medicine balls, expecting some unscripted meet-cute discovery in a beach urinal. A half-mile away from calamari-induced comas, aperitif at Shutters. It's a stage set and a front display reversal that takes us through the double-decker tours of the gated fences and gigantic-sized doors, the trash fires and residential break-ins that keeps a neighborhood watch. But it's the television reality glittered up with the star-spangled street corners and those pop-up dreams that keeps the headlights trained on the midnight eyes. Everyone give it up for Benjamin. Benjamin is a screenwriter, and we've talked in depth about that. So yeah, keep an eye out for Benjamin, everybody. Okay, so next up, I bought this book at the bookstore that Benjamin works at. Standard Loneliness Package by Michael J. Seidlinger. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. So what I love about this book, similar to Melanie's writing, is this book was hard for me to read because I feel like everyone usually is like trying to be the protagonist, you know. The question you always get is like, what makes this character redeemable? And I don't think this book asks that question. I don't think it's trying to be redeemable. I think, and that's why it was so difficult to read, because it was so raw and honest, and it wasn't trying to be the hero. And so each poem, it's epistolary, I think it's called, where there's like a letter, like each poem is a letter to somebody. And this poem, I should have like, I didn't put bookmarks in any of the books. This poem is called To Romeo. 6 a.m, you would already be barking. I hated and liked everything about it. The routine of a morning walk, followed by food, followed by my 2 hours to write. Before once again being forced out, a walk, do your business. Back inside for more work, while you would stare at me, sitting in some far corner, just visible enough, so that whenever I looked, you would be there, looking at me in wonder. Understanding that I was projecting the guilt onto you, day after day, more of the same, the pressure of the deadline. I'm not happy about what I did, but pulled at all ends, I had to do the same to you, leaving you in a crate all day. One walk, one chance for food, and to do your business. This happened for a week before desperation kicked in. When I got the news, it wasn't the end of the world, but it sure felt like it. The deadline I fought, the book I had written, rejection. I was younger then. I wasn't thinking about anyone else but myself. So I left the house and walked 4 miles to the nearest gas station, bought a few boxes of wine, and walked the same 4 back. It started in the driveway and didn't end until I was blacked out in the basement. The clock, when I came to, was 4 in the afternoon, 2 days later. I retraced my steps, the hangover still one of the worst I felt, and I found you there, still in your crate, days worth of piss up to your paws, and you, matted hair and shivering. You wouldn't trust me for weeks after, even when your owner returned, and when you finally let me pet you. I didn't trust myself. So, the phone number of the author is in the book. So, crazy person that I am, started a dialogue with them. And we talk often about craft, protagonist versus antagonist, because I feel like reading this book kind of made me realize that, like, most of my life I always felt like a protagonist. Like, I was always trying to do the right thing, the good, and I feel like now some people would laugh at this, but like now I'm like leaning more toward the antagonist. And it's an interesting shift, and it's something interesting to discuss with the author who, I don't want to put words in their mouth, and it's been a long time since I read this book, but I think that was a theme in the book, was being the antagonist. And obviously loneliness is like a huge theme, which is something I've been feeling a lot lately, so this book was helpful in that regard as well. Also, he writes a lot of fiction. I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to. Okay, so final poem. This book I think I also bought from Benjamin at the bookstore. The Desire to Meet with the Beautiful. I don't know anything about this author. Honestly, I like the cover of the book. And I always like thumb through and like read a poem, and I'm like, yeah, that was interesting. So these poems don't have titles. The whole book, none of the poems have titles. Also, the author is India Radfar. Sleep is my way of thinking. Is that wrong? Thought barely encased in silence. If I had to read my journal aloud at night, if my silence is my most transparent state, most intimate, I'm afraid that other people will be able to read my mind. They think it's a place that I could open, and I can't, without dying. The fierceness is not my essential nature. It is what guards my essential nature. In reaching it, you have reached the edge of my conscious self. I can't be alone unless I sleep. I use my memory as if I were alone, silently. For imagery, I want other people to read my mind now. I'm inside thought completely, like a child, but I can't speak. It is not like here. I could draw it for you, leaves that hold themselves up. The inner bark of things, old stones, grieving, quivering, outside of the foundation. Rose Mountain, what do you think? You went alone. You were everywhere, and you always went alone. So what I like about this book, or this poem specifically, sleep is my way of thinking. I love that line. because I have a lot of dreams, and after the dream I'm like, whoa, like my mind like took what I was feeling and like put a plot to it, and it's like impressive, honestly, like not to like toot my own mind's horn or anything, but because like sleep literally is how we process things. Like it's our brain like embedding and getting rid of and resetting and working things into, you know, our memory. And so I just love that poem because I do find sleep to be a very important part of the process of just human existence, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for joining me for Afterglow Poetics. I'm your host, Sarah. And yeah, I just wanted to cram as much as I could into one episode just in case I didn't get back to it for a while, just because life's been a little crazy. But thank you for showing up. One day I'm going to make that theme song that I keep talking about, maybe even right now. Yeah, see you next time.